What was just discovered beneath Antarctica could change everything. At the very bottom of our planet, beneath miles of frozen silence, lies a world almost no human has ever seen. This is Antarctica, a continent so vast it is larger than the United States and Mexico combined. A place so extreme it holds nearly 70% of all the fresh water on Earth. But what scientists have discovered beneath its ice is far more shocking than anyone expected. Hidden under an ice sheet that averages more than a mile thick are rivers that flow in total darkness, lakes sealed off for millions of years, volcanoes erupting beneath the ice, entire ecosystems survive without sunlight, and resources that could spark a global power struggle unlike anything we have seen before. Some of what was recently uncovered changes how we understand Earth's history. Some of it changes how we think about life itself. And some of it could change the balance of power on our planet. And later, we're going to reveal why the year 2048 has world leaders quietly paying very close attention to this frozen continent. Because what happens then could decide Antarctica's future forever. So stay with us as we descend beneath the ice into one of the last great frontiers on Earth. At first glance, Antarctica looks empty, just endless white stretching to the horizon. But the ice beneath your feet is not just frozen water, it is a time machine. Year after year, snowfall settles on the surface. Each layer compresses into ice, trapping tiny bubbles of ancient air inside, dust from deserts, ash from volcanoes, even traces of cosmic radiation. Scientists have drilled ice cores nearly 2 miles deep into this frozen archive. Inside those cores are air bubbles more than 1 million years old. When researchers analyze them, they are literally breathing the atmosphere of prehistoric Earth. These frozen layers tell a dramatic story. They show periods when carbon dioxide levels were far lower than today. Times when the climate warmed suddenly. Moments when massive volcanic eruptions darkened skies across continents. In certain regions, powerful winds rip across the surface at over 200 miles per hour. These winds strip away fresh snow and expose something called blue ice fields. The ice here is so compressed that it absorbs most colors of light, leaving behind a deep electric blue. In these blue fields, meteorites are often found resting on the surface, rocks from space preserved by the same ice that preserves Earth's past. But Antarctica is not entirely frozen in silence. Rising above the ice is Mount Erebus, the southernmost active volcano on the planet. Deep inside its crater, a lake of molten lava glows constantly. The heat from this volcano melts pockets of ice, forming hidden steam caves where mosses and microscopic life survive in near darkness. Even here, life finds a way. And this is just what we can see near the surface. Beneath it, the continent is moving. About 1,000 feet below the surface, Antarctica becomes something few people imagine. It becomes wet. Thousands of rivers and streams flow under the ice. Pressurized by the enormous weight above them, some of these rivers even appear to flow uphill relative to the landscape above. These waterways connect more than 700 hidden lakes scattered beneath the ice sheet. Some of these lakes are larger than entire cities. And every so often, they drain suddenly. When that happens, billions of gallons of water rush through underground channels in a matter of hours. The ice above them bulges and lifts like a blister, then settles back down again. One of the strangest places on the continent is known as blood falls. From the side of a glacier, a red liquid pours onto the white ice below. It looks like something out of a horror film. But it is not blood. It is ancient salt water that has been trapped beneath the glacier for millions of years. When the iron-rich water reaches the surface and touches the air, it rusts, turning a deep red. That outflow carries nutrients into the ocean. Those nutrients feed microscopic plants. Those plants feed krill. And krill feed whales, seals, and penguins. Even the smallest hidden stream beneath Antarctica can affect life across an entire ocean. And then there is the fire beneath the ice. West Antarctica sits on a fractured crust. Beneath it, dozens of volcanoes lie buried under the ice sheet. Some are dormant, some are not. Scientists have detected heat rising from below, melting the ice from underneath. This meltwater acts like lubricant, allowing glaciers to slide more quickly toward the sea. Seismic instruments occasionally detect tremors deep below the ice. Ash layers preserved in ice cores reveal that eruptions happened in the past. As the climate warms and the ice thins, more of these volcanic systems may influence how quickly Antarctica loses ice to the ocean, and that ice holds enough water to raise global sea levels dramatically if it were to melt. The frozen continent is not static. It is dynamic, restless, and alive with geological energy. But perhaps the most astonishing discoveries are not about fire or water. They are about life. More than 2 miles beneath the surface lies Lake Vostok. It is one of the largest subglacial lakes on Earth, buried under nearly 4 kilometers of solid ice. This lake has been sealed off from the surface for millions of years. No sunlight, no wind, no contact with the outside world. And yet, life exists there. In smaller subglacial lakes that scientists have carefully sampled, researchers discovered thriving communities of bacteria. These organisms do not rely on sunlight. Instead, they draw energy from chemical reactions between water and rock. It is a form of life completely independent from the sun. In another astonishing discovery, researchers found small crustaceans swimming beneath an ice shelf hundreds of meters below the surface in total darkness. How did they get there? Likely remnants of ancient ocean ecosystems trapped as ice expanded. These findings have enormous implications, because if life can survive in Antarctica's buried oceans, it may also survive beneath the icy crust of distant moons in our solar system. Antarctica has become a testing ground for understanding worlds far beyond Earth. If you could magically remove all of Antarctica's ice, you would not see a flat white desert. You would see mountains, valleys, and deep canyons. Hidden beneath the ice are the Gamberts Mountains, towering peaks completely buried from view. There are vast basins that sit far below sea level. Ancient river systems were carved long before the continent froze over. Millions of years ago, Antarctica was not frozen at all. Fossils revealed that it once supported forests, rivers, and even dinosaurs. But beneath that ancient bedrock lies something else. Geological surveys suggest that Antarctica may contain large deposits of coal, oil, natural gas, iron, gold, and rare earth elements. Resources that modern economies depend on. Resources worth trillions. For now, none of it can legally be extracted. But that brings us to the year that has governments watching closely. In 1959, 12 nations signed the Antarctic Treaty. Today, more than 50 countries are part of it. The treaty designates Antarctica as a place for peaceful scientific research. Military activity is banned. Mining is prohibited. Territorial claims are effectively frozen. It has been one of the most successful international agreements in history. But parts of the environmental protections can be reviewed in 2048. As climate change reduces ice in some regions and technology improves, access to Antarctica's bedrock becomes easier. Several nations have expanded research stations. Icebreakers patrol surrounding waters. Scientific surveys map what lies beneath. Officially, it is all for research. Unofficially, many wonder what will happen if resource pressures increase. If the mining ban were ever lifted, Antarctica could become the center of a geopolitical scramble. Not just for oil or minerals, but for influence in one of the last untouched regions on Earth. The continent that once seemed too remote to matter may soon become strategically vital. Antarctica is not just a frozen wilderness at the bottom of the world. It is a living archive of Earth's climate, a laboratory for studying life in extreme environments, a geological engine of fire and ice. Beneath its surface flow rivers that never see sunlight, lakes that have been sealed for millions of years, volcanoes that burn in eternal darkness, and landscapes that remember a time before ice ruled the continent. What we are discovering there is reshaping science, but it is also raising difficult questions about the future. Will Antarctica remain a symbol of peaceful cooperation? Or will growing demand for resources turn it into the next global frontier of competition? For now, the ice still holds its secrets. But as technology advances and the climate changes, the frozen frontier may not stay untouched forever. So what do you think? Should Antarctica remain protected at all costs? Or will the pressures of the modern world eventually reach even the coldest place on Earth? Share your thoughts with us, and don't forget to subscribe for more.